Listen, we always talk about going, 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 but we really sometimes don't realize that we're just exerting more and more energy and not getting where we want to be. Have you ever felt like you're just doing a little bit of this, you're doing a little bit of that, you're trying to move the needle over here, you're trying to make sure this is successful over there, and you stop for a minute and you begin to ask yourself, what did I really get done? What really happened? You know, so often I deal with people, I help individuals become better leaders, become better entrepreneurs. And, you know, I tell them about things that can advance their life, that can advance their wealth, advance their business. But all too often, I see people who don't really want to go through the process of really what it takes to actually begin to get where they want to go. They think they're going to get there by going more and don't realize that they need to focus on growing more. Now, when we really consider the constant pursuit of different things, different ideas, different opportunities, one is so easily left in a situation in which you actually don't know what to do with your life. Now, let me go to my whiteboard for a minute. And sometimes we're like this individual in the center here, and we're here, and a lot of times we're in this situation where we're always thinking about what to do next, right? And so from here, actually, let's draw these arrows the other way. So we got these different options that pop up, right? And they're coming from all these angles. And so what happens is when we feel the pressure of options, right? And we have option 1, option 2, option 3, option 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And we feel all these options that are actually, coming toward us. And so the pressure of the different options, and even sometimes they're good options, right? You're learning new things. You're learning something that actually is going to make you better, stronger, allow you to be better with your health, better your relationships, better on your job, better in your business, better in specific things that are very important to you in terms of advancement. But each one of these options then generate a pathway, a road, right? A road to travel. And oftentimes we end up in a situation where we're inundated with so many thoughts, so many ideas. I don't know if some of you can relate to this, where it's just all at once. You just sometimes you just want to yell, like, what do I do? Which do I do first? Where should I give my time? I can tell you as an entrepreneur, I'm always in that situation because, as the CEO of a company, right, and even being the CEO of yourself, the biggest thing that we're, really excited about as CEOs is that we are really able to make decisions that either will move us forward or backwards, right? So we have to realize that with this authority, comes a sense of accountability and responsibility that we have to make sure that we don't get lost in the going of it all, that we forget that I must grow enough to be able to go enough, right? So it's an interesting thing, but we focus more on just scheduling the next thing, doing the next task, making sure that we can check off something that, we want to do next. But we forget to think about the investment that we need to make within ourselves to make sure that we're constantly growing so that when we think about where we should go, we're thinking from a mature place that we have bought and earned through the things that we have learned. So this is very, very key, earning through learning, so that I have actually taken the time to decide that I'm going to grow before I go, right? And sometimes I can grow as I go, but I have to make sure that in the thing that I'm deciding to go towards, I'm actually taking steps that lead to actually a destination that is valuable to me. And then it's okay to grow within that effort. So let's go back here for a minute. When we think about the pathway, right? And we might have a pathway and it might have these offshoots, right? And we're trying to get here where the flag is. And let's make a few more offshoots, right? And we're here. So the thing is, a lot of times there's these other shiny, sparkly things that show up, that look different. And as we travel down this path, right, a lot of times on this path, there's also obstacles, right? And the thing about it is, when I'm going down this path, it takes me some effort to actually get up over this obstacle to keep going. And when I start to get that line of sight and see that there's another obstacle that I'm going to have to really address, it starts to get very tempting to make a turn and try to go to this other shiny thing that looks like it has an opportunity. And so what's happening is every time these obstacles come up, these are really growth opportunities, right? So what's happening is, because I don't want to feel what it feels like to grow, right? And remember, in growth opportunities, whenever we think about the word grow, it automatically has some discomfort with it. It automatically means to change. It automatically means to have to do something different. It automatically means going somewhere you've never been before, right? And all of these things are the things that we are not wired to like or to find pleasure in. So if you end up in a situation where you reject the things that you have to feel to be able to grow, then you start to become a person who's just always on the go. But it's a meaningless going, right? Because you're going to not have to deal with the growing. Because the thing that you need to do to really get where you want to go requires you to stop and deal with that roadblock. And you don't want to deal with that roadblock. So here's the thing. It's often like an individual. Let's say you know something you need to do and you're trying to advance, in a particular thing, whatever that thing is, right? Let's say you're trying to learn an instrument. You want to learn how to play the guitar. And while you're learning to play the guitar, you start getting to, learning how to hold your hand a certain way and how to put your fingers a certain way. And these are some of the things that kind of, was a little bit difficult for me. And I decided that wasn't the goal that I wanted. So I wanted to go to other instruments like the piano or the drums. I started off trying to learn a little bit of the saxophone and then kind of got away from it. So I know what it's like to, you're trying to find yourself. But one of the things is we have to understand, like, if I really in my heart want to be a good guitar player, one of the things that when I get hit with that obstacle of now learning, certain things that I have to do with my fingers and certain things that I have to do with my wrist, and it's uncomfortable for me and I don't like it. And then it's like someone walks by playing a flute, right? Or someone walks by, playing a harmonica, whatever it is. And I say, you know what? I think I like the harmonica. And then I go over there and start trying to, because I'm still, the ultimate goal of being better and making music is still there, but I'm getting off of the thing that I really want to do, the thing that really matters the most to me, right? And so what happens is we go here, we go there, we go, everywhere, and we don't want to address the thing that could really make us great. If I would keep going in the situations that require growth, I'm actually going to go further because I'm going to actually get closer to the real thing that I really want to do, the thing I really want to be. So many people are lost in the going that they actually lose themselves and they actually end up at a destination they never wanted to be in, right? And then someone else goes through the growing and they're starting to play that guitar and they start off with you and you're saying, oh my God, that's really what I wanted. And you're over here playing the harmonica or whatever, right? And everyone was kind of telling you you're doing a good job. But when you see that person come playing that guitar and they put the work in, you say, oh my God, that's really, really what I really wanted to do. That's really what I wanted to be. That's really what I desired. So the people who get to enjoy, right, the fulfillment of a real thing they want to do and actually arriving at the doing of it, the people who really get to that point are the individuals that actually accept the growing that must come with the going, so that they're not always just on the move and where the going becomes meaningless because they have lost sight of the reason that they started the journey in the first place. So we have to remember that, like, what is the journey for, right? Going back here to my whiteboard, you know, we have to remember the purpose of the journey. Now, I hope a lot of you can relate to this because we lose sight of the purpose of the journey, so we just get lost in all these other things. And we don't want to keep going and climb over that next one, right? Ignore this option here, right? And keep going. Climb the next thing. And the next thing you know, because you've been growing, there's a point where you're getting your stride and you actually end up at your purpose, right? So we have to realize that when we get the natural reaction to quit, the natural reaction to remain comfortable, the natural reaction to think about what we can't do, we have to fight back, right? And push ourselves to be willing to grow. And we have to think about the purpose at which the journey was for as a thing that starts to cause me to be motivated to go through the pain of growth. So when you think about the pain of growth, you know, at some point we have to turn that pain into something that is productive. So when we think about pain, we only think about the fact that it hurts. But it's similar to when you're exercising and you start to correlate pain with muscle growth, right? Or if you're an athlete and you do repetitive motion, right? And you do repetitive motion of something that is very focused, it starts to create the capacity for growth and for you to actually expand into being able to do even more because you start to master every bit and piece of what is required to be good at that thing. So we have to learn how to see the pain as a form of productivity, because what happens is when I begin to go through the pain of going through what it takes to grow in all these distinct areas that are around the thing that I'm trying to become, then I end up arriving at these higher levels of mastery because I was willing to go through the growth process. So let me show you this. When we think about mastery here, look at it this way, that whatever I put inside of this circle, right? Let's say it is that, let's keep with our music example. Let's say I want to learn to play the piano. As a part of this, there's something here I got to learn, something here I got to learn, right? So there's these elements that I start to understand. So maybe I have to learn about notes, I have to learn about chords, to learn about scales. I have to learn about circle of fifth to understand how music moves. I'm going to learn about different music modes. And maybe I'm going to learn about something called inversions, another way of playing my chords in different ways. So the key is, when I'm first thinking about the thing, right, in the middle of the circle, whatever this is for you, start a business, advancing your career, get a certificate for some technical skill that you want to master, whatever that thing is, it doesn't matter what's in the circle. But the thing is, when I understand that that's what's in that circle is the thing that I really want to get to, it's the thing that I am going to fight for, it's the thing that I've got to get done. The ability to actually break down the subcomponents of the things that I need to grow in to be able to arrive at that is so important, because each one of these, when I begin to understand the framework of things that I need to actually understand to really get to the goal, what do? I'm going to seek mastery with my notes. So now I'm going to learn about notes, and I'm going to keep doing it over and over. I'm going to play notes. And I'm going to grow. I'm going to get tired of doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep doing all my notes. Then I get to the point where it's become instinct, right? That's where I know it's kind of become to levels of mastery, because now I'm doing it as an instinct, right? Without a lot of thinking, right? So then notes make chords. So I start learning how to play the different chords, right? And all of these are related to my scales. And I just take all these things, right? And I just start really going in on each little part, right? And there's a point at which I've grown up in every subcomponent of the thing that I really want to do or be. And then I get to a point where this is all one big circle of growth. And I have now arrived at mastery through growth, right? So a lot of people end up going to the next thing before they can arrive at this level of mastery. And the reason that I'm talking to you about this is because this is one of the reasons that so many people leave money on the table. They leave achievement on the table. They leave success on the table because they don't understand the power of not quitting and resisting when things get more difficult on the path that you're supposed to be on, right? Not when you get on these paths you're not supposed to be on, but when you stay on the path you're supposed to be on and obstacles come up and things come up, you think you couldn't do it, but you just quit. You just gave up before you had a chance to grow up. And if you would have stuck with it long enough, and if you would have kept reinvesting in yourself, right? So it means I'm constantly investing in myself, right? I'm getting more information about the thing that I'm trying to do. I'm investing in myself through the time that I'm putting in to get better at the things that I don't know how to do. And as I keep doing this, at a point that something clicks. And so then I move to the next thing. And next thing you know, I'm growing and I'm growing and I'm expanding. So we want to not focus on going. We want to focus on growing. But if we keep going on the path that we really are supposed to be on, then we can do them at the same time where we grow as we go, because we don't get off of the path that we're supposed to be on because we remember the purpose of the journey that I actually decided to go on, because there's something that I want to accomplish in this thing we call life. I'm Michael E. Parker. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you don't just keep going, keep growing, because you are the CEO of you.